What is a red flag from an employer that people might not immediately recognize as a red flag? A couple old senior partners, lots of young employees, and nothing in between. That means Therese no opportunity to move up, they can't get people to stay, and can't get lateral transfers. They work young folks for as long as they can, and the young folks leave once they figure out the company sucks. We called it the 242,424 plan. Hire 24-year-olds, pay them 24 kir, work them 24 hours a day. And repeat. That's what they love about these 24-year-olds, man. Company gets older, they stay the same age. Actually, the nice thing about hiring 24-year-olds is that there are 20 of them. Everybody is very young at a very old company. I'm working in a company that's decade old, but everyone has been in the company for about 4 to 5 months max. Only the hour has been there for 7 to 8 years. And honestly, with the shit they are pulling off, I can see why people don't stay even to complete their probation period. Give us the hot goss, internet stranger. Don't leave us hanging. Because they ask the employees to do stuff that's not at all their job. For instance, I am in digital team, but they want me to perform the tasks that a salesperson would do. And they don't even provide the training for it. My rule is I'll accept oddball responsibilities. Things that are unusual and infrequent, which require problem solving and improvisation. It's what I'm good at and what I like. No, I will not take on another rote task that needs to get done every day. Right? I'm cool with helping out. But asking me change my job responsibilities to something that I've been refused to be trained for is just so duckin' infuriating. Had an interview somewhere, they offered 20 to 23 starting. Being new in this field, when they asked how much I was expecting to be paid, I said, well, you guys are offering 20 to 23 starting, and being new in the field, I think 20 would be good. Their response was, oh, well, that's kind of a red flag for us. Usually when someone starts with us, they'll say, I'll take $17 until I can prove to you that I'm worth the $20, so you'll see why we're hesitant. My response then, why would you offer $20 at your low end? I didn't get a call back. When you don't get a review until you ask for a raise. Then, all of a sudden, your work is being questioned and you're being berated. Yep. Going through this right now. 2 years working for the company and I asked for a raise. Now suddenly I have the owner's wife all over me, digging into everything I have done and just making my life miserable. I'd find another job then give my notice. If they ask why you're quitting, say, according to your wife, I can't do anything right. Just received a job offer today. It sucks because I do like my job and my boss, but trust me, this woman will be the death of the office. She has run off so many amazing people. If Therese an exit interview, that would be a good time to explain how detrimental she is to employees and them retaining good ones. Believe me, people have voiced their concerns about her many times over. He doesn't want her mad at him, so he lets her continue to work in the office, much to the detriment of his employees. They claim that overtime isn't mandatory and workers stay longer by choice. Our deadlines make no sense. We work hard, but play hard around here. Homer, why did you bring me to a gay steel mill? The job title says they're looking to hire rock stars. Or ninjas or gurus or any other dumb buzzwords. I've seen superheroes a ton recently. Vigilantes don't get paid, they do it for the way it makes them feel. When they refuse to tell you what your starting salary would be, or when they just avoid the question altogether. Like I didn't apply to the job to be a part of some family work culture, I came here to get a job and be paid. Is money the only reason you work? Yes. Yes, it is. Tell them no, but I'm really passionate about the possibilities that having money opens up. Like paying my rent and not starving. I'm really passionate about not starving to death. I've actually used this in more than one interview. It gets a laugh, I get a job. Asking if I plan to have children in the interview, I was 19. I don't think an interview is the proper place to birth a child anyway. Do you have any other talents? Lies down and goes into labor. If we find 6 other pregnant women, we can get a baby in a month. Asking if you are somebody who's willing to put in the time to make sure deadlines are met, work is done, or if you're the type of person who leaves when the workday is finished. This is generally corporate speak for we will be forcing you to work unpaid overtime. So you don't hire enough staff, or you don't manage your time effectively? Trying to rush a decision out of you once the offer is made. I once interviewed with a company where I would have been relocating across the country to work for them. There were 3 rounds of interviews and they left me completely in the dark for weeks on end between each round before inviting me to the next round within just a few days of when the interview would take place. After the final interview, it was over a month of silence from them until they made an offer but told me I had less than 24 hours to let them know my decision. I would have been moving 2,000 miles away from home to a place I had never been or even seen before. Interviews were completely virtual. They wanted me to start 6 days after the offer had been made. When I asked if there was any flexibility for me to have more time to think it over or have more time to move out there, they said no. They needed the decision the next day, and if I accepted, I would be starting in less than a week. I declined the offer. In other words, they hired someone other than you, who quit or was fired, and they needed to replace them ASAP. There's a misery wall when walking into work. When you pass a certain point in the building, the feeling changes significantly. If you know, you know. Yes. I was interviewing at Wayfair, in the corporate office. I was in their normal waiting room, everything was fine and dandy. Then I was sent to sit outside an office near the back of the place where my interviews were going to be held. I sat there 3 minutes, looked around at people, had a sense of dread, and left. I walked out and told the receptionist I can't do this here. It's not what I want, and left. I got called 3 times after that asking if I wanted to reschedule. They seemed way desperate. Any job ad that doesn't mention the name of the company should raise suspicions, doubly so if it's anything to do with sales. Got done by that trick once. Turned up to the interview and the job was going door to door selling vacuums for Kirby vacuums. If the job description has a nondescriptively massive salary range, $25,000 to $100,000. So many insurance sales jobs like this. This is a commission-only role. No base salary, but top performers can expect to make $150K plus. Salary range, $30,000, $250,000. Anything that the manager says in the interview that doesn't line up with the job description. Yeah, we posted it's a manager level position, but this is actually a coordinator role. Yeah, the description says travel is 25%, but it might be closer to 50%, it just depends. We did post it as a remote job, but we prefer people to be in the office X days a week. Yeah, we phrase it that way in the job description because corporate says we have to. All of those are red flags. Anything a company is vague about should be a red flag. Once we advertised this as a full-time permanent position, but every hire begins as a 1-year contract so we can get to know you. I've got no issue with a probationary period, but if you're only prepared to do a 1-year contract with a possibility of full-time, put that in the ad. The sink or swim technique. It was my first day as a cashier. I got a couple of hours of training, then I was by myself and we were dead. All of a sudden this rush came in and I was asking for help. The manager goes, sink or swim, we're busy back here, figure it out. Lol, I did, but let me tell you, customers were not happy because I still didn't know how to properly enter in orders, especially modifications. I had the same happen to me at Lowe's. I was put up in customer service without any training, all on my own. I straight up told customers that I didn't know how to process their return transaction, make special orders, do internet fulfillment because it was my first day and I had received no training. I called a manager over and the manager received some feedback from the customers. Happened to me a couple years ago working for 7-Eleven. Got hired. My first day the manager left me by myself on the overnight shift. The only thing I was told was how to open the register and that the delivery truck was coming at 2 a.m. I then got reprimanded for not doing things that I was never told to do. I quit after a week. LMFAO. When they say, or try to make you sign, anything pertaining to not discussing your wages with other employees. That shit is illegal and it screams that people aren't being fairly compensated for their work. I've literally up and walked the duck out of jobs for this. When they say, or try to make you sign, anything pertaining to not discussing your wages with other employees. Oh, I sign that shit. I sign that shit all day. And take a picture and/or request a copy for my records. Duck, yeah. Then I go to a labor attorney or the Department of Labor and start planning how to spend my settlement check. Because that is highly illegal in the US. Company I used to work for got the shit suit out of them for this. Twice. Once for the violation and again for retaliatory action when they fired the guy who filed suit. That's up there with the dude who sued his bank for racial discrimination when they didn't think his checks were real, and when he went to deposit the settlement check, they duck and did it again. Goofy meme edit. Thanks to those below for corrections and sources.